with Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with Kirk? I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 Who You With Kirk, dog. Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, dog. I'm Who You With Kirk, dog. Hopefully everybody had a great today. I did. I actually slept late. I think I slept till about 6:30 this morning, which is late for me. So hopefully y'all had a great day today. Want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house kicking it. And also we want to welcome Anchor.fm to the show. Don't forget you can subscribe to the Anchor, just a low fee of $2.99 per month. Ooh, eye itching. Somebody talking about me. But yeah, you could definitely subscribe to that channel. Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, dog, and support the show tonight because tomorrow is new laws go into effect. So we're going to talk about these new laws that's coming up. Then we also going to talk about a couple other stories that just came up. If time alive, if not, we'll put it over till tomorrow. So it's a couple of things we're going to hit on tonight. But these new laws, we need to pay attention to them because come tomorrow, anybody 21 or older is allowed to carry firearms without a permit, without the training or the permit. So that's here in Texas. So we got to pay attention to that. Also, welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. Thank you for always tuning in and supporting the show. I definitely appreciate it. So, like I said, there's a lot of new laws coming into play starting tomorrow that we really need to pay attention to. For the simple fact, we know Greg Abbott is all about him. He don't care anything about the people of Texas, except for a small group of people. So we're gonna hit on that. And I don't like this one. Hold on. I'm switching the story up. Go back to the one I seen earlier that was a little bit better to break down compared to the one that came up. So so this is coming out of KSAT.com in San Antonio. It's several laws that we need to pay attention to that is going to be very important that can change the way that we do things here in Texas. And regardless of where you are, what state you're in, please pull up your laws because a lot of new laws start for a lot of people starting tomorrow. So you need to know for you won't find yourself in a world of trouble. So of course, I mentioned about the gun law. Starting tomorrow, anybody 21 years or over can carry a firearm. You still have to go through the background check, but anybody can carry a firearm as long as you pass the background check. And basically, long as you don't have a felony or domestic violence, you can actually carry a firearm. So please be mindful of that. You never know who caring, who not. And unfortunately, in a time like this, where it's a race tenses and people upset due to the pandemic and people is on edge right now. So be mindful of that. Now I will let y'all know for the ones that never been trained, never carried a firearm, and you're excited about this bill. Well, look, don't find yourself in trouble for the simple fact just because someone cuts you off does not mean you had a right to pull your weapon. It don't mean you had a right to show your weapon to try to scare someone. You will find yourself in jail. So don't do it. Be smart about it. Words never hurt anybody. It might hurt your feelings, but they don't give you a right to pull a weapon. And in a time like this, we see this so much gun violence that's going on here in Texas. It's crazy. I don't understand why somebody in a right mind will allow this bill to sign to go forward. So that's something that we have to be mindful about. Just because somebody look at you wrong, don't give you the right to uh, be able to do it. Radio ads do a lot of people open carry in Texas. Well, this bill will allow them to do it, which some people who have their permit, yes, they normally do carry open, but normally it's not nobody who look like me. So because it's a difference. Uh, yeah, I think last year when we first started doing the show, a lot of videos came out. The difference when you see a white guy carrying a gun, and then you see a black guy carry a gun, it's completely different. Um, kind of like up in Wisconsin with your homeboy. Um, when the police seen him carrying that gun, they did not question him. Then he um, shot and killed and injured people. Then you wonder why was he carrying that gun? Why the police did not stop him, even though it was past curfew. Instead, they gave him praises. So that's what we're gonna have to deal with because even the story we talked about last night about Miss Brown up in Chicago, where that cop just automatic because she was at a closed beach. He asked her to leave. She's leaving, and he decided to attack her. But then he decided to let her go as if nothing happened. Now, just imagine if she was carrying an open firearm. He probably would have shot her and said she drew her gun on him. So that's the type of things we're going to have to be concerned about, not only with the people getting upset, and the first thing they holler was, I felt my life was threatened. Just because somebody look at you, then on top of that, when you see all these Karens and Steve calling police on UPS drivers and stuff like that, all because of the color of their skin. Now, if they open carry or if they carrying a firearm, then what happened then? It may not be videos of them stopping them, calling the police. They may shoot first and say, well, I was trying to protect my neighbor property. I was trying to protect their property. So that's a very dangerous law to pass for anybody, any state in a time that we're in today. It should not pass. And this is what our piece of a governor have done. And just like some other states. I believe uh, Tennessee passed it back in July. Um, was it July? Yeah, I think it was back in July. They passed the same law. But at the same time, you're passing these laws in areas where crimes is already a problem. So basically, they trying to take us back to the wild, wild west. That's what it comes down to. Um, then also, it came out a couple of hours ago that um, the voter suppression bill, they've sent it to Greg Abbott's desk. They passed it. The GOP had passed it, and the Texas legislation um, have sent it to the restriction bill to Governor desk, and he already said when they first started talking about it, he was going to as soon as he got in his desk, he was going to sign it. So now we're dealing with um, untrained people carrying firearms. Now you have this bill, um, this Bill Connor voter suppression law that they passing. So now we're up against the wall and we're having a fight. That's why I push the fact so much. That's why we need to vote. We need to get out and vote, let our voice be heard, and make a difference. Radio said, I find some gun owner overestimate their judgment and skill when it comes to a gun. Some people feel like they invisible when it comes to a gun. Just because you're carrying a gun does not mean you know how to operate the gun correctly. Does not mean you can hit your target every time. Because what you got to realize, once you pull that trigger and that bullet come out that chamber, guess what? You are responsible for that bullet, regardless of who it hit or what it hit. You are responsible for it. So you got to be very careful how you operate a firearm. And some people feel like they the best shooter in the world, but never touched the gun before. And unfortunately, you will find people that would be buying guns illegal for people that are not supposed to have them. And that's going to get you in trouble as well. Because once that person get caught with it and your name is on it, guess what? You're the one going to be charged as well as them. So don't do it. It's not that important. The thing is, if you treat everybody with respect, we will be in a much better world. Now, I'm not opposed to carrying guns or anything like that, but I just feel like this is a crazy bill to sign in a time like this. Uh, just here in Texas, in Plano, Texas, they've had two police shooting in the last 4 days or something. Now they was justified. So, but the thing is, as well as the police having to defend themselves, you have suspects shooting at the police, kind of like the first shooting. The guy said he was, first of all, he killed the Lyft driver, dumped the body in the parking lot where he killed her at, drove her car to the Plano Police Department and started to shoot. And come to find out, they said they believe he connected with a terrorist group. Um, so the FBI is investigating that. Then they was serving a warrant this morning. Suspect ran out the back door, shot at the cop. They shot him back. Justified. So that's the type of issues we're going to have. And this is any blood that is lost because of this law, it's on Greg Abbott hands because he's the one designing this. He's the one pushing for this because he wants Texas to be like the Wild Wild West. Um, Radio said you need a license to drive a car, but don't need one for a gun. Crazy. Exactly. It should be the same law. Now you're gonna have all type of guns on the street. Texas just really got the ammunition back because we've been having a real bad shortage. Now the price of ammunition went up. They're starting to trickle down, but now this new law, they're going to shoot back up and people are going to start buying more ammunition. But at the same time, Greg Abbott don't care because he actually have security. Uh, uh, so it's gonna be a sad situation. And another law that is passing tomorrow. Now the gun law is HB 1927. Um, Another law that is passing tomorrow. I don't agree with it. SB 8, anti-abortion legislation, limit procedure to as early as 5 weeks. And it referred to as the heartbeat bill. This new law banned abortion after a fetal heartbeat can be detected, which can sometimes be as early as 5 weeks after a missed period. Victim of rape and incest are not exempt, meaning they must carry the pregnancy to term once a fetal heartbeat is detected. Accidentally, any person, additionally, any person in Texas, with the exception of state or local government employees, will be allowed to sue, will be allowed to sue abortion providers or anyone they allege to have assisted a woman in attaining the procedure. That could include providing transportation to a clinic. So if you are an Uber or Lyft driver and you taking a woman to an abortion clinic, you can be sued. It also added a requirement that doctors are not allowed to perform abortion without first performing a test to see if a fetal heartbeat can be detected. They only is the only exempt to this rule is if a physician believes there is a medical emergency which makes the abortion necessary. I heard Tupac a while ago, and in one of his songs, he said, "It should not be up to a man to decide what a woman do with her body." But once again, this is Greg Abbott. So if someone was raped either by a family member or a rapist, and they mess around and get pregnant, and you're gonna force them to live out that pregnancy and dealing with it for a long time. It's a woman's choice. It's a woman's choice on what she decides to do with her body. Of course, I would not recommend abortion, but it's that woman's choice. I'm not the one having to carry that child, but it's a woman's choice. Um, Radio asks, can they replace election official in the new bill? I wish. I wish. Um, I definitely wish they could. Um, and I need to check something real quick. Uh, Hold on. I just thought about something that I seen. If y'all don't know, if it's your first time listening, you are listening to Speak on It with Who You With Kurt, though. Sometime during the show, because we are live, um, and some things come up in the middle of the show that we may have to verify. Because one thing about it, we want to be able to um, give you correct information. We don't deal with conspiracy theory, but this is a show for everybody. Um, Trying to find out something. Uh, Hold on. I'm trying to pull up some things real quick. Uh, I'm gonna have to look at it later. I will have more information tomorrow if I don't see it here. Um, um, yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it up tomorrow and have it for you, uh, because I don't want to say nothing until I get it confirmed. But either way, uh, this is driving me crazy. I gotta find this out. Uh, Radio said this is what Georgia did. If they allege fraud in an election, they can replace election officials who don't necessarily go along with them. Scary. It's a very scary time that we are in because people um, do not understand what's going on. Uh, Hold on. Is this? Uh, I'm trying to find this information because if it's what I think it is, we need to get this information out. Um, but I'll figure it out, and we would definitely uh, get the information out to everybody once I find out for sure. And trying to see, uh, what's this thing? My computer be doing its own thing. But also, that's just a couple of bills that have passed in this session that is going to go into effect tomorrow. So it's very important that you know what laws that are being passed. Um, HB 929, we talked about that on the show. Body worn cameras. Um, Police officer would now be required to keep their body worn cameras on during investigation. This law was inspired by the death of Botham Jean, a black man who was shot dead in his own apartment by former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger, who is now serving a 10-year prison, which it should be more, for his murder. Previous officers were allowed to turn off their camera if they were in a non-confrontation encounter with a person. The new law required them to record any part of the investigation. So that's good. That's a good thing. That protect the citizen, and also it protect the police to make sure there's no foolishness going on. Uh, Radio said the GOP will contest every closed election they don't win with these new voter laws. Yes, they will. We seen how Ken Patson uh, kept filing lawsuits trying to get this election overturned, and it didn't work because there was no fraud. At least not for Biden, it wasn't, but that's it was no fraud fund. Um, Couple other laws we're gonna go over there. We're gonna move on. How much time do I have on Anchor? Okay, we could run through a couple of these. HB 1518 beer and wine sales on Sundays. Previous Texas could not buy beer and wine until noon on Sunday. The new law has banned hours for the sale of beer and wine from 10 a.m. to midnight on Sunday. The sale of liquor is still prohibited in stores on Sundays, but it's allowed on other days from 10 to 9 p.m., except on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's Day. Um, then HB 1239, churches can't be closed. Churches can't be closed. While churches already have robust protection from state and federal laws, there aren't necessary guarantees special treatment during a public health crisis or in other matters of public safety under those laws. At the beginning of the pandemic, Greg Abbott, executive order on March 19, 2020, limit indoor gathering to no more than 10 people in churches. Were not exempt on March 31st. Abbott said his order is exempt essential service, including churches and house of worship, but orders from some local uh, jurisdiction, including Harris County, continue to include churches in their general stay at home order. The new law states that places of worship cannot be ordered to close for any reason by any government agency or public official, including during a disaster. Yeah. Um, so you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. It's a couple of more laws we're going to go over. Um, Want to welcome everyone on the show: Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is in the house, as well as Anchor.fm. Please, no matter which platform you are on, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, tell a friend. We are live, and continue to support the show. If you're on a platform that you could give hearts, uh, definitely give the hearts, the likes, and everything else. um, right now, we finna stop Anchor and restart it, but we will be back on Anchor for part two in just a minute. Um, so, but those are some of the laws that we are dealing with when it comes down to Texas that will go into effect tomorrow. You can actually find a list of it. And then this next law, I want to make sure people understand about it because um, with Greg Abbott, I feel like he basically smiling from ear to ear on this next one. So, but as soon as we bring Anchor back on, we'll go over that real quick. Um, excuse me, trying to trying to get it in. So, but hopefully everybody is having a great day. I appreciate y'all for being patient and tuning in with us and doing a lot of continue to come back on the show. I don't know if it's because y'all like my big head or I just uh, like the way I sound. So I don't know, but this is a show for everyone, like Marcellus Smith say. This is the people show. Everybody is welcome, regardless of your reviews. Everybody is welcome. Everybody have a voice, and you can always uh, be a part of the show. And you're right, radio. These laws are ridiculous. They are ridiculous because some of these things is I'm like, wow, really? Oh, wait until I tell this next law. Because this next one, you're gonna be like, you gotta be kidding me. Hold on. Welcome back, Anchor FM. We are back for part two of the show. We're talking about the new laws that are coming into play in Texas on tomorrow. Um, so we talked about the churches, elected officials, or government agency cannot close churches. Well, let's roll on down to HB 3979, critical race theory. Texas is now one of just a handful of states that is banning the teaching of so-called critical race theory, or more accurate, how race and racism have impacted the social structure of the U.S. Um, the new law required that Texas student learn a specific list of documents. According to Texas Tribune, many educators and education advocate group have opposed the bill, saying it limit honesty conversation about race and racism in American society. Teacher also banned from giving extra credit to students for participating in civic activity that include political activism. So here it is. We knew Greg Abbott had a problem with it. That's why he's about to lose his job next year, because he don't want to teach the true history of America. He don't want to do that. And that's a problem within itself. See, a lot of people is ashamed of their history. They're ashamed of their ancestor history. But he's going to sign a bill to prevent from kids learning the true history of America. Now, some people say, well, actually, before I say that, we didn't start hearing about critical race theory until Trump lost the election last year during the running. That's when they started bringing it up. Before then, we didn't hear anything about it. So, was it last year? I believe it was last year or early this year. A teacher here at a local school district actually said that um, that did a comparison between the police and the Klansmen, and said it's not too much of a difference, because the Klansmen, um, they broke in the house, they shot and killed unarmed black folks, hung them, wouldn't lynch them, whatever they had to do. Well, here it is in 2021. We're still having these incidents happen where the police is shooting unarmed black folks and getting away with it. And it's not a problem because our laws are jacked up. That's why we need to get people in office that will um, uh, be right for everybody, not just for a certain group of folks. You need to be right for everybody. Now, Greg Abbott, he was advocate about the um, he was advocate about the fact that the COVID is not that bad. Wanted to open it back up, but when he got it, he got scared. He was scared about it. Um, Radio said, "Isn't there supposed to be separation between churches and state in the U.S.?" It should be. It is. That's why churches cannot talk politics. I'm gonna let that sit in. Jasmine Molino, welcome to the show. It's my first time seeing you here. Please take the time, like, share, click the notification for when we come on live. You can be a part of the show. She said, "I got hurt by a criminal." Um, Sorry that you did. It's a lot of wrong folks out here that do wrong, and it's one of those situations where we have a lot of people that are dealing with mental illness all over the world, not just in Texas, but all over. And some people um, have actually end up doing a lot of things to people. Um, we have talked about this on the show, because I know people that are transgenders, and any racism is wrong. It's wrong. I don't care. I don't care about your sexuality. If you are doing things to people, any crime is wrong. But when it's targeting a group of folks because of their sexuality, that's even more wrong. But no, to answer your question, no, I haven't looked up the statistic of it, but I know here in Dallas we've had several transgender that was killed here in Dallas last year. So that's pretty bad when you have people killing folks just because what they choose, um, their sexuality. I personally, I I know a lot of transgender, I know a lot of gay folks, know a lot of straight folks. That's your choice, just like abortion. That's a woman's choice. Everybody have choices in life, regardless of who you are. Long as you happy, I'm happy. And that's all to it. I don't care about uh, what you prefer to have or don't have. That's not my choice. But I haven't looked up the numbers in a while. But when we have done shows on it, normally we'll talk about it when we hear about a transgender being murdered, being attacked. I think it was last year, it was in California where this group of people attacked a couple of transgenders, and we reported on it. It was wrong for them to do that, and hopefully they were caught. So, um, but no, I don't know the number, uh, and I would tell anybody because I know people close to me that are transgender. I don't judge them. I love them just like they were before, just like anybody else who I meet that is a transgender, gay, whatever. I'm gonna respect them because they're a human being first, and that's all to it. Um, so mostly if it's from people of color, uh, not necessarily. Uh, I don't know why my computer. A lot of time it is, but not necessarily, because the killings that we had here of transgender, it was different race, and it was different race that was doing the killing. They were just randomly picking these folks to do it, and that's wrong. Um, so that's not my point. Okay, I think I covered what you were saying. Yeah, the numbers are high and mostly from people of color. Um, A lot of time it could be, but I don't know for sure. I don't know the exact numbers on it. But give me to tomorrow. We'll find out though. Um, yeah, it's about being the statistics. You're right. Um, I'm like this. Everybody is welcome on this show. I Oh, you in the hood. That's a well, normally if you are in the hood, because we had an incident that happened um last about a year and a half ago here in Dallas where um this transgender were actually got into it with someone, and this guy beat this transgender. It was in the hood in Oak Cliff, and and I want to say it the and she did press charges against him, but then also I want to say shortly after that he was found dead. They don't know if the guy that did the beating did it or somebody who he knew. So, um, matter of fact, we need to do an update on that case to find out if they ever found that killer. So definitely, please take the time, like, share. Um, yeah, most of the time it is. It is guys that normally attack transgenders. Now the reason why I'm saying guys and I'm not necessarily putting men of color because I don't know the statistic of it. I don't want to put out false information. That's why I'm sticking where it's a general thing. But mostly, yes, it's a guy that do attack transgenders, and it shouldn't be like that. You should be able to respect everybody wishes, regardless. If they don't like the same thing you like, fine. Um, that's your choice. I actually a while back I used to work with a guy that was this was ooh, over 20 years ago. Worked at this place, and this guy he was a trans he was a I don't think he was in the process of doing operation, but he did drag shows, And he would always tell us that, hey, I do drag. One night I'm gonna come up here in my drag outfit. Okay, cool. He came up, nobody recognized him until we seen his boyfriend. When his boyfriend came in, we realized who it was. And still, we respected him because that's his lifestyle, that's his life. So, so definitely with uh, transgender, which actually we've been talking about getting a show together to talk about some of the things that transgenders and gays go through. So if you definitely would like to be a part of it, let me know. Um, I'm gonna put my email up, and if you know someone who would like to be on the show too, um, we could definitely get it together. You can email me at who you with Kurt Dog at mail.com, who you with Kurt Dog at mail.com. And we would love to get a show together and be able to talk about it. And hopefully it would help change the way that people feel about transgenders or gays or anything like that. So definitely shoot me an email, and you can also text my number that is strolling across the top, and text me, and I can send you the email, and we can actually do it like that and communicate off the air. We can communicate off there. And if that's something you would like to do, you're more than welcome to reach out to me and we can do that. So, but it's up to you. But I appreciate you for coming on. I definitely do. This is a show for everybody. Everybody is welcome here. This is a safe zone. Nobody would be disrespected. Uh, it's only a couple of ways to be blocked from the show. You come on here disrespecting somebody, I get you out of here. So, but other than that, this is a show for everyone. Radio also put up the Santos want to pass a law in Florida banning university from indoctrinating students. Polls show college graduates are more liberal. Well, in Florida, eh, we need to change a lot of stuff. We really do. We really need to change a lot of things when it come down to some of these elected officials that we have. Um, we need to change a lot. And whatever state you are in, the we have some major elections coming up soon. Y'all need to stand up and show out. And what I mean about that, go to the polls. Let your voice be heard. Don't be discouraged because a lot of people they only vote when it come down to the presidential election. But we need to vote every election, regardless of what's on the ballot. There been times where I went in to vote, it was just one thing on that ballot. But guess what? I vote what I felt was best for my family and my community. So that's what we need to continue to do. Every election, we need to get out and vote. We need to make sure people understand you're not finna get in these positions and then turn around and disrespect us. So we're tired of playing games. We're tired of the phony politicians getting in these positions and then turn around and give us a slap in the face. So that's what we're tired of. But what we were saying earlier about the fact of this critical race theory, um, Greg Abbott don't want it, but we also need to send him a message. It's so important that we teach our kids, our nieces, nephew, great, our grandkids, teach them the true history of America. For the simple fact, if we don't teach it, it would die with us. And if it died with us, people like Greg Abbott will get exactly what they want. See, they can kind of control it in the schools, but they can't control what you're teaching in your homes. So we need to make sure our kids are fully aware of what's going on, and that's the way of how we need to do it. Um, Let me see. Oh, it's only da, da, da. It's a couple of more I'm gonna go over. Then we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Radio said, hold on real quick. I got to pull that stream back up. DeSanto said he will pull funding from university found guilty of this. He also said he wants to promote critical thinking. He's anti-critical thinking. Yeah. Well, DeSantos, he's trying to become run in 2024. We don't need him there. We don't need him there at all. So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to win over enough people where he feel like he had the opportunity to run the greatest country in this world. But that ain't gonna happen. That's uh, kind of like Greg Abbott. Since the you haven't heard him talk about the border lately. He stopped talking about the border, getting the wall built. I know my hands is rough because I wash them a lot. Mess around and start a fire up here with this sanitizer on it that alcohol and rubbing cause a fire. Um, but because of uh, the border wall, a couple of months ago, he was gun ho about it. But you haven't heard him say too much about it lately. That's because he's trying to get in office too, in a higher office. Well, Greg Abbott, the son, Ken Patson, Dan Patrick, Sid Miller, y'all time is up. It's time for y'all to clock out. Clock out, and your political careers are over. Because as long as I have a voice, make sure people getting out to vote. All the bogus laws that you're changing to try to do voter suppression, it's not going to work. That's just going to upset folks and make them get out to vote. So now that people are woke and showing up for elections, other than the presidential election, guess what? Y'all woke up a sleepy giant. And that's what we're going to do. Uh, Keith Johnson, welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. He, he came in and said, out with the old and in with the new. And that's so right. That's what we have to do. Out with the old and in with the new, because it's a new day. It's a new time. It's a new generation that is tired of this mess that y'all continue to try to pull. And we're tired. So we're gonna do what we have to do. Radio said most undocumented people in the U.S. just overstayed their visa. The majority don't cross the border. We have a lot that cross the border, um, but at the same time, they running from the fact of wherever they coming from, the danger that they're in. Now, of course, as long as they come over here, do it right, uh, become citizen, pay their taxes, I have no problem with it. Have no problem at all. Um, Keith Johnson said a new vision for the people, a new vision for the future for all people. Exactly. That's exactly what we need. And we need a new vision. And these leaders that we have now, they not the best that we have. Never was and never have been and won't be. So we definitely need new vision and new leaders. And it's very important that we get out and vote. Matter of fact, if you're not registered to vote, if you just moved, please go to vote.org and get registered to vote. Check your status. Check your status. If you are a felon, If you're off papers and if you have paid all your dues, go to vote.org. Regardless of what state you in, it will let you know if you could get your voting rights back. See, a lot of people that done time and they don't know they can get their voter rights back if they paid all their dues. In some states, I believe someone mentioned a couple of weeks ago, some states allow prisoners to vote. Um, so it's a lot of states take your rights, but once you paid all your dues, why not get your rights back to vote? So go to vote.org and get your rights back. And let's do it. Now, as two how much time do I have? There's two more I want to go through real quick. Medical marijuana. They're going to raise the percentage on it from 0.5% to 1% with THC. And they're going to open it up a little, make it a little bit easier. Well, not a little bit easier, but I feel like we all have PTSD. But everything we've gone through for the last 4 years, we all cuckoo for Cocoa Puff in some sense. But now they're allowing doctors to prescribe medical marijuana if they choose to. Why not just make it legal in Texas? That's all I'm saying. The GOP have been fascinated on the southern border for decades. Scott Walker wanted to build a wall along the Canadian border, not just for decades, but we got to remember they've talked about this way back in the 60s, I believe. They talked about immigrants coming over. That's why marijuana became illegal in Texas for the simple fact that immigrants, that's how they made their money from Mexico. They used it for medical purpose, but they felt like with them allowing them to smoke marijuana, it encouraged the white women to go out and date or go out and have sex with black and browns people, and they made it illegal for if an immigrant got caught with it, they can deport them back to Mexico or wherever they came from. So it, all of that need to change. All of it need to change. The last one I want to talk about is the Star Spangled Banner Protection Act. This tells you a whole bunch about this bill. One thing they said was, let me open my screen a little bit more. Um, One thing they said was the Star Spangled Banner and the national anthem of the U.S. in recent years, it has become a topic of debate with athletes kneeling and protesting of police brutality and some sports teams choosing not to play the national anthem before games. However, this new law will require professional sports teams that have contracts with the state to play the anthem prior to the start of every game. So I know Lift Every Voice is his black folks' national anthem. And Star Spangled Banner, that's what we was taught. But Lift Every Voice is a great one. But hey, that's the new law. We gotta abide by these laws. So we're gonna see how that work out. And that go into effect tomorrow. Radio said conservatives have spread myths about weed forever. Also, yes, they have. Yes, they have. And it's crazy how they do it. And they're in these positions, but people don't want to get out and vote. And when people don't get out and vote, they can say anything and people will believe it. So the thing is, it's amazing how with marijuana they would actually give it to cancer patient, supposed to help with the pain. I'm sure there's some other benefits from it too. Um, so yeah, the myth about weed is crazy. I, I don't think a little Mary Jane hurt anybody. Um, so yeah. Kneeling during the national anthem, not allowed. Insurgent, oh, on the Capitol, no problem. Exactly. And we're gonna hit on that a little bit later. Uh, so those are the new laws that are taking place in Texas. Um, they're taking place here, and it's gonna make a difference. They actually take place tomorrow. So you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm Al. Who You With Kurt Dog. Um, Want to welcome everyone on the show from Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, D Live is always in the house. And I am Keith Johnson said Texas could pass the marijuana bill for medical purpose and entertainment cause. They already doing it. And let the truth be told, allegedly, some of them may be doing a little bit more than that. Um, that's why it's a difference between, well, it was, I think they changed the law. It's a difference between crack cocaine and cocaine. But that's a whole nother story. Yeah. So um, let me stop Anchor and bring us back on. Hold on real quick. Um, Anchor will be starting up part 3 in just a minute. So yeah, I feel you on that, Mr. Johnson. It's crazy. I personally I have no problem with marijuana. Um, I don't smoke it, but if it was legal, I would. Uh, Hell, it help you sleep good. Um, and then it help free your mind a little bit. You don't hear somebody smoking marijuana, then going out there and straight marijuana, then going out there and shooting up places and stuff like that. So it's definitely a difference in it. So I personally don't have any problems with marijuana. I think it would be a great thing to make it legal, and all those people that have served time or serving time for marijuana, wipe their record clean. Do what's right, because they never well, I'm not going to say all of them, but majority of them never should have been in there for having a little bag of marijuana. um, um, so it's definitely something that uh, we need to process. It's almost finished. It gotta process it and all of this. But we'll be going back live with Anchor FM. And please, if you on the go all the time and you want to support the show, you could go to anchor.fm and you can actually subscribe to the show. And you could take your podcast and take this podcast everywhere. We're on 7 platforms, regardless if it's Apple, Spotify, or whoever, you can get it on there. So, um, welcome back, anchor.fm, for part 3 of the show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're still talking about the marijuana here on the live show. So, uh, Abbott sound like the gateway drug to yeah. I think Greg probably he probably I'm not gonna even say that because I'm gonna say some stuff and I have to live with what I say later on. I'm gonna leave that alone. But from what people call him, I think he'll go real fast. Uh, Keith Johnson said, "I don't have a problem with it either. I don't smoke as well. To each his and her own. I don't smoke, but it can. I've gone through some things, and I was like, Lord, if it was legal, um, yeah, I probably would smoke. Um, about 99.9% that I would. Um, but I'm not. I never. Well, I won't say that. I'm not a big smoker because I still like to be in my right mind. Um, so so that's what they're doing with the marijuana law, and also the Star Spangled Banner, making sure it's played at all sports event. Um, Now, while we're talking about election, um, we know, and uh, oh, you do. Chaos said, "I have a weed store down the block from me. I don't smoke it though." Yeah, we was trying to get up to Canada. We was trying to get there, but mm, we just didn't have the 14 to 21 days to stick around there. So we said, "No, we'll just chill. We'll stay home." But when they open back up, and like I said, we're gonna reach out to you, and we will come up there and hang out um, for some days and just chill. So, while we're talking about politician here in Texas, we're gonna go over to the west side. No, California had a recall, and one of the contenders, Larry Elder, make misleading claims that young people don't need COVID-19 vaccine. Don't need the vaccine. Um, oh no, Greg Abbott definitely won't be reelected. I guess he's gonna set the stage to say it was fraud. Um, but it's time for him to go. He wasted enough of our times. Him, Dan Patrick, Ken Patson, they all need to go. It's time. Welcome to the show. T Cal is tiptoeing in. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you're having a good night. Tuesday night, I know you work on Tuesday, so I assume you at work. Just not sliding in, so I would assume you at work. But have a great night. Be safe, and um, continue to listen if you can. So, the Larry Elder, the leading GOP candidate, then to replace California Governor Gavin Newsom, said he doesn't think it's necessary for young people to get vaccinated against COVID-19 or for children to wear masks at school. And he vowed to repeal any mask or vaccine mandate for California state workers if he is elected to replace Democratic governor in the September the 14th special election. I don't believe the science suggests that young people should be vaccinated. I don't believe the science suggests that young people should have to wear a mask at school. Elder told CNN Joe Johns during a wide range interview Monday afternoon in Los Angeles. Even though some pediatrician ICU face a shortage of beds in areas that were hard hit by COVID 19 this summer, he went on to make this misleading assert that young people are not likely to contract the coronavirus, and when they do, their symptoms are likely to be mild, and they're not likely to be hospitalized, and certainly not likely to die. Mm, yeah, uh, I don't know, because it was a young lady, um, a young lady here in Texas. I just seen the news on it last night. Um, I want to say it wasn't Ennis, just south of Dallas. Just lost their life to it, to the coronavirus. There have been many other kids that have lost their life or nearly lost their life. But to have a fool like this, to say these type of things, he must be crazy on something or just trying to win. You mean to tell me in almost 2 years, you still believing this is not real? Well, I think when people say that, they should allow them to go up on the COVID flow and work. Let them see it firsthand, because apparently they haven't experienced someone that actually had COVID. I know many people that have had COVID have survived, but I also know a lot of people that had family members that had COVID that have lost their life. But for someone still to believe this is not real, and you running for office, California, y'all need to y'all need to stand up on the ladder and make sure this fool do not get in office. And I'm calling him a fool for the simple fact only a fool would talk like that. So definitely stand up and make sure he don't get in office. Um, Joe Jaworski for Attorney General. Um, Never heard that name before. Is he here in Texas or never heard that name? Um, TCal said I'll be back and forth, but would definitely try to listen. I appreciate it, TCal. Um, the citizen don't see it across the U.S. They're trying to execute the population. I don't know about that. Um, I hear people saying that, but everybody have their own belief on that. We should then be able to sue the Ooh, when the pandemic started, I asked the question because a lot of people was running up on folks, coughing, saying they had have the virus, and all of that. Maybe Greg Abbott should sign something in law to say if we know that we got the virus from an unvaccinated person, we should be allowed to sue that person. But I did ask the question last year. I said, if somebody run up on you, cough and saying they had the virus, wouldn't that be an assault, a threat on your life? Would you have the right to put something hot on that ass? I'm just asking. Because if you coming up saying that you had this deadly virus, coughing and spitting on a person, your life is in jeopardy. If it's an attorney out there that can answer that, let us know. I'm not saying it just to use that, but I'm saying because at the beginning we seen a lot of people going into stores, uh, spitting on fruits and stuff like that. So we will see. Uh, who you with, Kurt? There is the United States and there is California all by himself. Yeah, I know California is completely different. Because normally by the time the election is over, we already know who the president is before they even get started counting. So I understand what you're saying about that, but I have a lot of friends and family out there. I'm asking them to stand up, and definitely make sure he don't get in. Texas Attorney General Joe Jaworski. Never heard of him, and he's if he want to know who he is, he can always come. But in my personal choice, I never heard that name, but my choice as of right now is still um man, my mind just went blank. The attorney, the civil right attorney. Um, what is my mind just went blank. I'm trying to do so much at one time. I cannot say I'm gonna support him. I don't know anything about him, but I will have to research him and see what he stands for because everybody who name is on the ballot doesn't mean they for the people. So um so that's I'm trying to pull him up now. Um Trying to pull him up because I don't know who he is. Don't know anything about him. Where is he out of? Because uh, haven't heard anything about him. Lee Merritt, attorney, civil rights attorney Lee Merritt is who I'm thinking about. Um, that's who I'm thinking about. That's who have my support. Attorney Lee Merritt and um oh, I didn't even see you put it in there, radio. My mind just went blank. And so yeah, Attorney Lee Merritt. So that's who has my support. Um Now if somebody come along better, I will look at him and see. But right now, Attorney Lee Merritt has mine. Um uh Keep saying Lee is a good guy. And I'm talking about Lee Merritt because we see the work that he do in Texas. He's out there on the front lines supporting people with civil rights matters. And he's not just out here as unlike Ken Patson out here trying to overturn an election and filing all these lawsuits for no reason. That's why he's being investigated, which we need to do a follow up on that too. Um, but radio said every California governor since 1960 has faced some form of recall attempt. Yeah, um, it's one of those situations where no matter who's selected, everybody not gonna like it. They not gonna like it, so that's cool. Couple of more things I want to go over real quick. Um, uh, Radio, you mentioned about the Capitol rioters and what happened January 6th. Well, the attorney, um, um, the defense attorney Pierce, they had been looking for him. Wasn't sure where he was. Well, John Pierce said he has gone missing from court appearance. Well, come to find out, he's defending 17 of those uh, rioters, terrorists. Um, and now he's reported on a ventilator with COVID-19. So uh, I don't know if he was vaccinated or not. Have no idea. But the thing is, he's uh, I don't know what his stance is on that, but he's fighting for his life right now. So prayers for him and his family as they're going through this trying time. And it just came out a couple of hours ago that he's in the hospital on a ventilator. Um, so definitely keep them up in prayer. Regardless of who he support, don't support, he's still a human being. And by being a child of God, we also still need to offer prayer for them. Um, Keith said the Republican Party has always been whiners. Yes, they have. Radio said, hope you pull through. Don't, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. So hopefully he pull through and his testimony would change some things. Um, as we talk about uh, testimony, um, last night, after I got off the air, um, um, I found out once I got off the air last night, uh, in my eyes, we have a lot of great gospel artists out, but one that really touched me quite a bit was Lee Williams of the Spiritual QCs, and I started listening to him years ago when he came out with Can't Run, Can't Hide. Um, I played that CD so much that it actually started to stretch. That's how much I played it because I was going through a lot of things back then. And to find out that he passed, I know he retired a couple of years ago from performing, and find out that he passed last night. When I tell you one of the nicest person I ever met, that was Lee Williams. The first time I seen him in concert, um, went to see him in concert, and we talked. And he asked me what I did for a living. I said I'm a truck driver. He said, "Man, I drove trucks for years. Matter of fact, I still have my CDL. You never know when it's singing would not work out for me." And we laugh and joke. He acted like he knew known me all my life. And um, as we talk, and I've seen him many times in concert. Matter of fact, that first time I asked him, I said, "Mr. William, can I get a picture with you?" He was like, "Sure." And someone that was with him said, "Well, you got to pay for the picture." He said, "No, he don't need to pay for this. Um, he can have a picture with me." Took the picture, I got it blowed up. And uh, every time I seen him in concert, I would always talk to him. And it was kind of like one of those old friends. You lose contact for a while, but when you see them, you pick up where you stop talking the last time. And he's like, "Man, you still driving trucks?" And we would talk, good time. And to the family and the fans and the spiritual QCs, my prayers are with you. Lee William have put an impact in my life from some of the things I was going through during that time. If you never heard any of Lee William and the Spiritual QC's music, please go check them out, because what you see on stage, that was him in life. Lee William, he would say sometime at his concerts, um, you don't have to um, run around stage to give God praise. Lee William was standing in one spot and he will sing, but you could feel what he was singing. You could feel it down in your soul. And I remember one time he was in concert, and it shocked me. Um, as he was singing, um, he was singing. What's the name of that song? When he said, I look back over my life and where I came from, and but this particular time he sung it, and he kind of shouted a little bit, which many times I seen him in concert. A lot of time he was standing there singing. You could feel what he was going through his ministry. But that particular concert, when I seen him, uh, when the spirit touched him, I was like, "Whoa, that was great." So, uh, Lee William, I appreciate the talks. Whenever I seen you, I appreciate your ministry, because during that time, if you know me, um, had been some rough times, and through his ministry and his music, really changed and steered my life in a whole different direction than what I thought I was going to go in. So, Lee William, job well done. For the family and spiritual QCs and the fans, continue to keep his memory going. So until tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you. Marcellus, I see you came in late, but you always on time. I understand you working, so it's always cool. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Keep his family in your prayers as they're getting prepared for the service, and just keep them in your prayers. So until tomorrow night, I love each and every one of you. Till then, peace.